Hello and welcome to another vintage LEGO 12-volt train review. Today I have a rare starter set from 1983, 7727 freight steam train, in good use condition complete with their original box. I bought this set from Jesse at Brick for Brick. He's a reputable Bricklink seller that I have bought 12-volt sets from several times, and each set has been in great condition. He has one of the largest inventories of 12-volt trains on Bricklink, if not the largest. If you are in the market for a 12-volt train set or supplemental set, I would highly recommend you check out his store. I'll put a link down in the description. Jesse is based in the Netherlands and ships with post and out, and I can say that their international shipping is consistently fast, and the rare vintage train sets have arrived without damage for me. With that said, here's some information about the set I will review today. 7727 was released in 1983 along with 7755 as the two new additions to the 12-volt lineup. 1983 marked the second major wave of 12-volt sets, with some earlier sets discontinued and various new sets, including 2 trains, a level crossing, and a new station. The 1983 lineup consisted of 4 train sets: 7725, which was the cheapest starter set, 7727, which was the middle starter set, 7740, which was the flagship set, also a starter set, and 7755, which was a supplemental engine. 7727 was the direct replacement to 7730, as seen by the similar components in both sets: a small steam engine, 3 goods wagons, a forklift, and a small loop of track. Maybe TLG thought that 7730 needed a refresh. 7727 looks a little more modern than 7730, and it includes some of the new pieces for 1983, such as the sliding doors on the boxcar and the large roof piece in the engine. This set was also the third and last to feature the rare red 12-volt motor, since it was the last 12-volt powered steam engine of the gray era. 7727 had a selling period of only 2 years before being discontinued in 1984 and succeeded by 7735 in 1985. Given its short selling period and lack of popularity compared with its predecessor, 7730, and successor, 7735, this set is hard to find now, especially with the original box. Let's take a look inside the box. 7727's box is in line with other starter sets of the era and is very similar in size to the 7730 box. So here are the two boxes. You can see that the box of 7730 is actually exactly the same width. So you can see from this side, if I move them together, you can see they're the same width and the same length, but 7730's box is slightly taller than 7727's box. So, an important detail to cover is first the language variants. So 7730, this box has 3 languages, and there were 3 language variants of the box, so each of them came with 3 languages. So the 3 variants are English, French, and Dutch, German, French, and Italian, and then Danish, Swedish, and Finnish. If you've watched my other videos where I explain box variants, you already know this, but Danish, Swedish, and Finnish is by far the rarest box variant. So I've only ever seen 2 photos of a DKSSF 7727 box because it's so rare. It's probably one of the rarest items in the gray era, maybe aside from the DKSSF 7750 box. So as you can see, my box is the English, French, and Dutch version, which from my research seems to be slightly more common than the German variant. So if I give you a close-up of the languages, you can see the 3 languages, and then at the bottom there, below the languages, right above the 12-volt logo, it says UKFNL, which is the abbreviation for English, French, and Dutch. The English text on it says electric goods train, and it's also called electric goods train in the English catalogs, but it's referred to as freight steam train to avoid mixing it up with 7730, which was released earlier and was also an electric goods train. The front of the box also has a picture of the train, plus small photos of the B model and an interesting alternate build, not shown in the instructions. So this is the official B model, and then this is the alternate build that's not present in the instructions. I really like the way the sets are presented in the gray era boxes. It's an actual photo of the set under very good lighting and a shot from a good angle. The background is simple and overall it looks really nice. The lid of the box flips up, and the inside flap of the box has some other photos of the set, including the forklift here. It shows the images, numbered 1, 2, and 3 of the forklift loading a goods pallet onto one of the flatbed wagons. And then of course, it shows the child building the set, and then building instructions at the bottom of the box in the 9 languages that the languages are on the box variants. And then on the right side, it says content, so you can see the contents of the set. And then it's also got another alternative model that's not present in the instructions. I think that one looks pretty interesting as well. Moving down to the actual contents of the box, you can see that the box is in the later style of the gray era, so actual 80s style instead of 70s style like the earlier boxes. And it has the cardboard outer shell, and then a plastic viewing window, and a cardboard inner box and plastic inner tray. So all trains of the gray era had boxes in a similar style as this one, except for the ones released in 1980, those being 7720, 7730, 7740, 7750, and 7760, which had the 70s style boxes with styrofoam. You can see around the plastic foil, I've put a bunch of silver tape, so you can see in this corner, that corner, I've got it on all four corners actually, because I originally received the set with damages. I did a box repair video. The box was in pretty bad condition, but I think I restored it pretty well actually. So if you are interested, I would highly recommend checking it out. It is linked right here. I'll also put a link in the description. Just like 7755, to access the parts, you have to open one of the side flaps and slide out the blue cardboard tray. Before I explain the box contents, I should also mention that originally this box would have included a plastic tray lid on top of the inner tray, but my copy does not have this tray lid. Tray lids, as I'm sure you know from many of my other videos, are very rare and expensive. I don't think I've seen a 7727 with tray lid for sale under $700. With that said, let's move on to the inner tray. So I'm going to open one of the side flaps, and then I will carefully slide out the blue cardboard inner box. And now you can see the inner tray and its contents. The tray has many compartments, some for specific parts such as the motor, the black buffers, and the wheel blocks, and then some that are just generic rectangular compartments for the less specialized parts. I put all the parts either in their dedicated compartments or organized in a bag similar to a sealed box. One part that deserves special attention is the red motor. This makes up a large percentage of the cost for the set because of its rarity. The specific motor in my copy is a Type 3 red motor, which is dated from the 27th week, 1984. So if I flip it over, you can see the date right there on the top. That has the reflection right now. It says 27/4, which is the 27th week, 1984. So that means that this set was one of the last releases of 7727, since it was discontinued in 1985. The motor is unfortunately missing a side clip. So you can see right here it's missing that one of the four side clips, but the contacts are in pretty good condition. You can see there's not really much wear to them except the normal wear, and then it runs very well on the track, of course. If I lift the plastic tray out, so I'll move the box back, and then you got to carefully lift this tray out because it is a little bit fragile. You can see the instructions in the blue cardboard inner box. These instructions are the smaller type, so these are half the size of larger instructions such as 7740 or 7750. My copy of the instructions is a little worn, but complete and overall in good condition. So I'll flip through these and I'll explain to you a little bit about the set. So the instructions, of course, show the main model, and then they also show instructions for an alternative model. Let me fold that corner back here real quick. This diesel locomotive, and I actually really like the alternative model. I may in fact do a review of this alternative model because I like it so much. So we've got a goods wagon with a tractor on top, a goods wagon with these sliding doors that were used in the original boxcar, and then one with what looks like a brakeman's cab, and then they've got like a little platform, kind of like the one in 7735. So I think it's pretty impressive that LEGO was able to make 3 solid goods wagons out of the parts that were used to make the main model. The diesel engine, I think, in the alternative model is reminiscent of 7760, but it has a red motor, which is pretty unique. And then in the back of instructions, there are just some tips about cleaning the motors and the tracks, short circuits, the standard stuff. And then it has the 1983 advertisement on the back. And I own all of the sets on this page except for the station, this train right here, and the goods terminal here, 7838. I did not get the sticker sheet with this set. The sticker sheet for the set is quite small, and the set actually only uses 4 stickers. So it uses the 2 stickers in the doors and then the ones in the weight. You might have seen those in the inner tray. I'm gonna actually take those out right now so you can see. So here are the 2 weights. You'll see these also in the completed model in the engine. These have the tonnage stickers on them, and then the 2 doors have railroad stickers. Mine unfortunately do not have the DB stickers. These are actually my first stickers that are not DB on any of my trains, but they have the NS, the Dutch stickers, and I guess that's kind of like a tribute to where I got it from, because I got it from the Netherlands. So now that everything is out of the box, I'll move this aside and I can actually show you the sides and the back of the box. So I'll grab the outer box again. So if I close this, you can now see the sides. So here's the bottom. Just has some standard details about the set. And then the barcode, which is released in all sets after 1980. Here is one of the side flaps. There's a little bit of damage from where I repaired it. It also has the picture of the set. The top part is the same as the bottom, except the languages here are a little bit different. I know those are upside down right now, so it says from 8 years. But then on the bottom, it's a little bit different. Here's the other, that's the same side flap. Here's the other side flap. And then the back of the box has some more pictures of the set. So the back shows some more details, such as the child playing with the box, some more details about like the forklift, the main model, and this is the full alternative model. Again, I mean, I like that. The diesel engine I think looks pretty cool. It's like a single cab, very, very satisfying diesel to look at, and then it's got the 3 goods wagons, and then the details of the sliding doors to the boxcar. And then you can also see actually both of the original seals on either side. If you can see that closely, there's like a plastic circle here, and that lines up with this part in the flap. Now both of these, and I have one on the other side as well. Both of these seals are broken, but in an original sealed copy of this set, that's how it would be sealed, because you can't get that blue inner box out without opening the side flaps. So both of those side flaps will be sealed with the plastic circles. The box is in pretty good condition overall, although it's been repaired and the plastic foil is not original. Again, I did the box repair video very recently. I'll leave a link to that in the description. You should check that out if you're interested. But this plastic foil, it looks very good because it's new. It's actually a stencil sheet from Amazon. It's like a plastic sheet, but it's not original, and I had to repair that myself. So you should check out the video again if you're interested. So I'm really happy to own this set, especially with the original box, even if it's not in the best condition. The set itself, though, is in very good condition. So I'm going to build the set off camera, and then next I will review the completed model. Alright, now I've built the set, so I'm going to review the completed model starting with the engine. I'll get it a little bit closer so you guys can see better. So this is the engine for 7727. It's a really nice engine. It's very similar actually to the 7730 engine. It's the same length. It's got the same kind of construction with the doors and the ladders and cylinders, but there are some differences that you can see. So first is that the entire train base plate, the undercarriage is red. The 7730, like it's black. The cylinders are black, so the 7727, the red cylinders are actually new for 1983. So these are red, and then the entire undercarriage is red instead of some of it being black, like in the 7730. But it does have the same kind of weights with the tonnage stickers, although they're closer to the front than the 7730. So these got these tonnage stickers on the sides. These are where the weights are. They sit right over the motor, directly in the center of the engine, so that the motor has some traction when it goes on the tracks. And then the construction of the 7727's boiler is also similar to the 7730, where it has like the inverted slopes up here, and then the standard slopes up here. It's got some steam domes up here. Can you see that? Yeah, it's got the steam domes and then the smokestack up here. It's also got in the front 3 lights. It's got 1 on the boiler and then the 2 in the front. You can actually put lighting in the locomotive. It's hard to put the lighting in here because these are on 1x1 headlight bricks and they're kind of next to slopes, but you can very easily put a lighting brick in here, and I think I'm actually going to do a standalone short video about putting lighting in this engine. So you can put a lighting brick right behind this light here, and then I'll show you in the back. There's another place where you can put a light prism. So yeah, there's some nice details, and I also really like this hose here. So the hose attaches to some headlight bricks and these like gun pieces. I know it's a little bit hard to see because it's all black construction, but this like gun piece here attaches to the headlight brick, and the hose goes down and then through the middle of the boiler and comes out the other side. And I think this is kind of like a tribute to 7750, because 7750 used the exact same hose piece. It used 4 of them, but 7727 is a little bit like a miniature 7750 in that, because it uses one of those hoses. And then inside the cabin, you can open this roof piece up. This roof piece is new for 1983, so they featured it in the set and the engine. And it's a pretty standard interior. There's just the Lego driver. You can see, well, it's a little bit dark. You can't see that great on camera, but right in front of his feet, I can see the contact holes for the motor where you can put wires for the lights. And there's just a standard slope. There's no control gauges or anything. In the front of the cabin, there are these two windows, one on either side. These are the rare train windows, the 1x2x2 black windows. They're not as rare as the 1x1x2. Those are like $30 each because they were only produced in 7730 and 7750. But these are still rare windows, about $10 each, and the set has two of them, one on the side and one on the other side, and these do have glass. But they don't. 7730 has these very narrow, very rare windows back here. The 7727 does not. So this brick right here, this can also be used for a light prism, because it's the two headlight bricks with the lights on the sides and then a 1x4 brick in the middle. This can very easily be taken out, and you just replace that with a 1x6 light prism, and you put a lighting brick in front of it here on the ground on the engine, and then you can put lighting in it. So yeah, that's what I'll probably do in my layout, or at least in my video. And you can see the engineer standing on the plate in there. You'll have to remove that to put a light brick in. The doors of the engine have the NS stickers on them for the Netherlands, for the Dutch railroads. You can see on the other side it has that as well, and the other tonnage sticker. These are actually the only 4 stickers in the set. None of the wagons have any stickers, which is kind of nice because it means when you take it apart, there are no sticker over assemblies that you have to deal with. These are all just on one single brick. And then, I guess in the undercarriage, these connecting rods are pretty standard to the steam engines, like 7730 as well. And then they use like one connecting rod for 7760 and 7735. And then you can see on the underside of the motor, the pickups and the one broken clip. The engine also uses these red buffers for the undercarriage, which are pretty rare. They're only in 4 sets. So yeah, that's the engine. And now I'll move on to the goods wagons. So these goods wagons are actually exactly the same. They're the 2 flatbed cars. They're on 6x16 base plates, which is pretty common for the shorter wagons of the 12-volt era. And then they've got 4 different pallets. I've stuck these on here. They're on like the 4x6 plates, and then they've got 1x4 plates in the middle, but I don't want them to, I'll explain why I stuck them down. So you can see these always just stick on the board, but they're supposed to be for the goods pallets. I stuck them down because Lego didn't actually offer any options for like having them kind of put down. Like if they were on jumper plates or tiles, then that would be much better, I think. But they didn't include any jumpers or tiles with this set in these flatbed wagons. So you have to stick them down for them to be like firm on there. Otherwise, they'll rattle around when the train is moving. So I just stuck them down because I don't really intend to forklift them around, because the set does come with a forklift, as if you saw. So the goods wagons, I mean, they're standard. You can see on the bottom, it's got the standard undercarriage construction. It's very slightly different from the 7730's goods wagons because it has like 1x2 plates in here, like right under there, instead of oh yeah, you can't really see that on camera because the lighting is bad. It's all black undercarriage, but these are almost identical to the 7730's undercarriage constructions. There's like one plate that's different. And then on the top, it's got these fence pieces, which I really like, in the middle, and then the shorter ones on the sides. And then it uses a bunch of these kind of 1x2 double convex slopes. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but it's it's those like half pyramid slopes almost. And then so the goods pallets, there's a container, a white container. There's nothing inside there, but these doors can open if you take it off. And then like a pallet with these blue barrels on them. And then the first wagon has looks like, I don't know, wood or something like that, lumber. And then this one has actually like a unit for a small buggy. And this is actually notable. So not only can the buggy come off, right, but this is actually where some of the value in the set lies. These hinges, I'll take this pallet off so you can see better. Oh look, the 1x4 plates came off with it. So these hinges, the 2x1 modified plates with the fingers on them, the light gray ones with solid studs are original to the set, and they're about $8 each for each one of these small hinges. And then the ones with 2 fingers are about $2 each. So in total, these 4 hinges are about $40, which is pretty expensive. And a lot of the times sellers will replace these expensive hinges with cheap ones that have the hollow studs, but these are not original to the set. The ones with hollow studs were released only in, I think it was 1985 or 1986, which is after the discontinuation of this set, which means that the hollow stud ones are not original. It's only the solid stud ones that are original to the set. So make sure if you're going to buy a copy of 7727 that you check the hinges, make sure they're solid stud. Otherwise, you're getting scammed. So those are the two flatbed wagons. Again, they're exactly the same, just with the 4 different goods pallets. Here's the boxed car. This is similar to the 7730's boxed car, but it features the new sliding doors parts that are new for 1983. These doors are featured in 7727 here, and then also in red in the 7819, the covered postal wagon. So these can snap open, and inside there's a space for another goods pallet. You can see there's tiles in there, and then there's some more fence pieces. This is 8 long. I don't know why they didn't make it 6 long, because the goods pallets are 6 studs long. And then it's the standard undercarriage assembly. The doors are the exact same on the other side, and then it uses a roof made of the 3x4 light gray slopes, which is pretty standard as well. And then the last part of the set is the forklift. This is a little bit different than the 7730's. Forklift is a lot larger, and it's like a more advanced design, I guess. The fork is also different because it's meant for transporting 6 wide pallets. The 7730's forklift has only a two stud wide fork, so it can only transport 4 stud wide pallets. But this one has a 4 stud wide fork. So if I take this pallet off, you can see the fork is meant for transporting exactly these types of pallets with the 6x4 plates, and then the plates on the sides to kind of hold it in place. And then this one does have the spring in it, so you can kind of put a pallet down, back out. I know it's hard to see because my hand's in the way. You can back it away, and then you have the pallet on the ground. And this fork can also tilt up and down, which is a nice little detail. The 7730 fork can't do that. And the rest of the construction is pretty simple. The roof can kind of hinge open, but it's also attached with studs on this side. And there's a driver inside. And the undercarriage also, you can see there's a big wheel, which is not in the 7730 forklift. That only uses the small wheel. So it's nice to have that detail of the bigger wheel there. So that is the 7727, the entire train. So because the set comes with a loop of track, which I didn't show is in the box right now, all you need is the transformer set 7864, and that's all you need, and then you're ready to rent. In terms of pricing, 7727 is in a very similar situation to 7755. The combination of a short selling period and the market for the set already being saturated by copies of 7730 back in the 1980s means that the set is not common. Usually you will find the 7727 listed for $250 minimum, although those listings will not include the box and maybe not the instructions. When buying a 7727, you should of course check the motor to make sure it's the right version. That being a Type 3 motor or a very late Type 2 motor from the week of 4982 or later, and the other expensive parts such as the windows and buffers. Also, don't forget to make sure the hinges are solid stud. Some sellers replace them with the much cheaper hollow stud versions. An original copy of 7727 with no box, but usually with instructions, will sell for about $350. Given how rare the box is, listings with a box typically won't sell for under $500, and I've seen sets that include a complete box in good condition that have sold for as much as $950. The trade lid for 7727 is very, very rare, and if you have one, you're quite lucky. I think the box is rare because the set didn't sell very well, and usually the later style of boxes are rarer than the earlier ones because they're more fragile and many of them were thrown away or damaged. I have never seen a sealed copy of 7727 for sale. Brick Economy estimates the price at $1,200. I think this is significantly below the true value given the rarity of a sealed copy. For my copy of the set, I paid €350, which is about $385 at the time of the purchase. The reason why I got a copy with the box for only €350 was because the outer box was in weak condition and needed repairs. Also, the motor is missing a side clip and the set does not have a sticker sheet. I try to buy my sets with boxes in very good condition, but I simply couldn't bring myself to pay $750 for a set with a better box, especially because the only 2 listings of that price tier in Bricklink still had imperfections. one didn't have the tray lid, and the other had damage to the outer box and a side flap missing. Maybe I would have paid that if I could have gotten a box in similar condition to my 7755 box, which is almost twice the price of what I paid for 7727, but in near new condition. Overall though, the 7727 I bought was a very good purchase because the train is in good condition and I was able to repair the box. 7727 is a great set, and if you're looking for an entry into the 12-volt world, I would highly recommend this set. If you don't care for the box, it can be found for a reasonable price on eBay or Bricklink. The engine looks very nice, and the goods wagons are solid choices to complement it. The set works really well with the remote-controlled decoupler set 7862 because you can shunt the wagons around. If you have a 7755 or 7760, the goods wagons also look great behind those engines. This set is very similar to 7730 in many ways, and in fact, I'm planning to upload a video comparing these two freight starter sets. Overall, this set is a fantastic addition to your 12-volt collection at any point, whether you're just starting your journey or already have every other set. That concludes my review of the 7727. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot about this set. I'm glad to own this set and very lucky to have found a listing with the box for the price that I did. Don't forget to check out Jesse's store on Bricklink, link in the description. Thanks to the about 10% of you that made it to the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you to all my current subscribers for all the support. I will see you in my next video.